watching stage 2 of the 2025 International Chopin Competition. Welcome to Chopin Talk. I'm Ben Lottie, and today we have an interesting topic to discuss. I'm joined by the Executive Director of the competition, Artur Szklener, and the Head of the Competition Office, Joanna Bokszczanin. Now, in 1949, an interesting thing happened before the competition. This was the first competition after the war, and special training programs where actually a training camp was instituted for Polish pianists in particular to actually basically warm up, get ready psychologically, physically, just get trained and prepped for the competition, almost like it's a sporting event. You know, go to training camp before the season. And something like that actually has come back in 2025. Joanna, talk to us about the special sort of promotion of young talent. What are its dimensions, and what has it done for the young Polish participants who were accepted into the October competition?
At first, I would like to say that promotion of young talents is one of the fundamental institute's tasks. And this program we have been carrying out for many years. I think that since 2012. This program is aimed to the pianist who comes from the National Frédéric Chopin competition, but is open also for the pianists who want to take part in the special concert series called Young Talents in the Frédéric Chopin Museum. Among our activities, which we prepare for this pianist selected from this wide group of young musicians, are such activities as organization of the master classes, annual master classes, which we organize in Radziejowice, but also many concert series, which we organize either in the base of the Institute in the Frédéric Chopin Museum in Żelazowa Wola, but also in cooperation with our partners in Poland, but also abroad. But of course, when we have the Chopin competition year, we are concentrated on the promotion of pianists taking part in the competition. We deeply understand that our support is very important for them. That's why we are trying to organize for them as many as possible concert possibilities.
So could you actually talk a little bit about these particular aspects of both? I mean, there's different facets, right? This year in particular, training with orchestra as well as the concert.
Yes, exactly. This year we've organized a very special program. For the first time in the history of the Institute, we organized a workshop with the orchestra, Sinfonia Juventus. During 1 week, pianists preparing to the competition had the opportunity to work with the orchestra performing one of the Chopin concerto under the guidance of a very good conductor, Marek Wroniszewski. So for them it was absolutely incredible possibility to work with the orchestra. We all know that it's not so common for very young pianists to have such an opportunity.
Including even really talented ones who go to conservatories. I mean, I went through the conservatory system myself. Some of my excelling peers would already start playing with orchestras, but for the most part, most of us, if we didn't win a competition we didn't get to play with orchestra, and we would learn these concertos and just have to play them with the second pianist. A second pianist can respond in a very different way to a concerto than a conductor with dozens and dozens of musicians playing with you. So this is a very valuable
experience. Yes, we have very good feedback from them that it was very valuable and very helpful. So we hope that, unfortunately, we don't have too many Polish pianists in the second round, but we hope that some of them will go to the finals.
Well, I've got my eye on a couple, but also just the experience of playing with an orchestra, whether it's to train for something but just being on stage and getting that opportunity is really incredible. So just to be clear, when we talk about promotion of young talent, we're really talking about not publicity kind of promotion, but development of experience and skills. Artur, could you elaborate on this?
I was just wanted to mention that we've got also Polish competition for young pianists, Chopin competition. And we've observed for decades, actually, that for most of them, the finals of this competition was the first time they could have played with the orchestra.
Yes.
And that was the direct inspiration of our working actually for them. So that the Chopin competition, the international Chopin competition, wouldn't be this case that they got the first opportunity of working with the orchestra. But as Joanna says, this program goes far beyond the Chopin competition. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's a part of our mission because we understand that everything that we do is based on the work of very talented young artists. And we just want to help them. We want to be their support from the first moment when they are ready to be on professional stages. So, as Joanna said, we had a series of special concerts. It's quite easy to get to this series because you need a recommendation of some professor or of some school, academy. And when you get to this system, you are observed by the professionals, not us, the Chopin Institute, but the professionals who hint us if somebody needs sometimes even an instrument. We've got some instruments that we hire for these people. We organize dozens of concerts for them. This scale is growing. Just to give you a figure, this year we are going to organize more or less 300 concerts, and most of the artists that are going to participate in these concerts are not just not only participants of this international Chopin competition, but also the participants of the previous editions of the competition, or even other participants of this system, because we have to think about this as a kind of a really multi-year system of supporting the artists. And this support even goes beyond the moment when they sign a professional contract with the artistic agency, because usually that is the moment when the artist becomes a bit more independent. But very often, even after that, we try to help them because we are a public institution. We are not focused on profit. We are just focused on, on making their life, the artistic life of young talents, a bit easier.
Well, I think it's really important because being able to play in public is a separate skill from being a brilliant pianist. One can, reach a level of artistry and self-assurance at the piano, but then to be able to perform in public requires a set of, skills that you can only gain from experience. You reach a certain threshold having performed not only once or twice, but maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times the same program, that when you come to a competition or just you have bigger engagements, there's an ease with which you approach that, right?
There are some pianists who don't have a problem with it.
They have it from right away, yeah.
Yes, but of course, what we know from all of our pianists taking part in the competition, that the more concerts they play before their performance, they feel better. So this is very important.
You've gotten good feedback from the
Yes. Of course, we talk to these pianists all the time, so we know what they think about our program.
Where all have they been playing? All around Poland, or where do you organize these concerts?
But not only in Poland. We organize the concerts in Poland in different cities in cooperation with our partners, but also abroad, as I said at the beginning. We have our partners in France, in Italy, in Spain, in Japan, almost in most countries on the world. But of course, this year also we established a new cooperation, very important for us, on Mallorca, in Palma. So yes, so
I hope they're playing the preludes there. That would be most appropriate.
Yes, so we created new series of concerts in Palma de Mallorca, and we had the opportunity to send many of the Polish participants to perform concerts
I just
there.
hope they had a better time there than Chopin did.
I just wanted to add that we are also opening this year, actually, a new direction of these activities. That's in Poland, but focused on a very small towns or small usually towns, because we want to, at the same time, we want to promote Chopin's music and classical music to audiences who demand it but don't have many opportunities. And we want to, at the same time, give the artistic opportunities, performance opportunities for the young artists. And what is always very important for us, that no matter how small, almost village it is sometimes, it always has to be fully professional. So on a professional stage with a professional piano, everything that has to be done properly. And we hope that looking from these both angles, we can have really great results, because we would also, we are trying actually to grow new audiences.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to also say about another aspect of the promotion of young talents, which is not directly connected with Polish pianists, but with the winners of Chopin competition. Because after several editions of last competitions, as well as after these competitions, we are going to organize a huge tour for the prize winners of the competition through almost the whole world. So it will be lasting more than 6 months. The winner and other prize winners of competition will have the opportunity to perform in very important concert halls.
That relates to a question I was going to ask. How much of this program is tied to the performance specifically of Chopin's music, or of the promotion of these talents, perhaps in performing other kinds of repertoire? I imagine winners of the Chopin competition will program Chopin in the year after, but is there a sense that, okay, we're promoting you in order to also play Chopin? It is the Chopin Institute after all. Or do you want to promote pianists who are maybe primarily Chopin players but are programming lots of works? Is that a consideration?
I think that both. There are the two aims of this program. At first, we are going to promote this new winner of Chopin competition and to help this person to be present on the most important stages on the concert world. But from the other side, we want to promote Chopin competition, and as the organizer of the competition.
I think that the demand just after the finals of the Chopin competition, demand for Chopin from all over the world is really very strong. But after 1 or 2 years, obviously the artist develops himself or herself, and they've got total freedom. What I think that is really important, that these activities, so organizing this tour, is one of the strengths of the Chopin competition, and probably it's one of the results why we've got so many applications, because it gives really some very reasonable tools for the artists. You know that the most important thing for the artist is to have opportunities to play, to be noticed in important concert halls, to be noticed by important programmers, promoters. So this is a kind of a very complex task for us, because we are not international promoters ourselves. So we've got to go into collaboration with artistic agencies and sometimes directly the concert halls or some other parties, just to show the laureates and then let them develop themselves.
I was wondering about that. So this is actually the first year where you're going to be promoting more the winners, and in previous years it was left up to independent agencies that you partnered with, or that just tried to, I mean, was there some kind of competition for different management firms to be the representatives of the artists, or how did it work in the past in terms of just like Bruce Liu wins, Song Jin-to wins, Juliana Avdeeva wins, now what? How responsible were you in the past for promoting their careers? In
the recent edition of Chopin competition, we tried to organize this concert tour mostly by ourselves. So we had the direct contacts with concert halls, sometimes with agencies, but which were based on specific countries. But this time we decided to have cooperation with one of concert agency, which helps us to organize this tour.
But still, the situation is that we've got a kind of a mosaic, because you know, I remember myself around 2010, so the year of the big anniversary of Chopin's birthday, and we had some arrangements we had some initial talks with different artistic agencies, and most of them were having a kind of the condition that if we want to work with them, they have to have the exclusivity. And it was very difficult for us because we think that as a public institution, as a Chopin competition, we should have some freedom, and also artists should have some freedom. So we try to work ourselves, and now it is a situation when the artistic agencies accept that they can have just part of the let's say market or of the world that is the most natural for them, and we try to build a kind of a bigger mosaic of these relationships.
And I imagine recording contracts are part of the promotion. Is that separately organized, or is it related to the concert tour? Is there anything different this year? I think at least the most recent artists are. I mean, I don't know if this is, these are sensitive topics, but look, when I go to listen to Song Jin-cho or Bruce Liu, it's Deutsche Grammophon, you know, in recent years. So.
Yes, this is something separate from the tour of the winners. We established the cooperation with Deutsche Grammophon in 2015, I think. And
for the CD.
Yes, for the CD. And we've managed to continue this cooperation even this year, so we hope that directly after the end of the competition, the new CD with the winner will appear.
Their performances
yes.
from here will
yes.
be interesting.
You know, we don't want to limit an artist. We want to help them, but if they decide that they want to have a contract with somebody, or if they want to change the contract, that's their decision. So it's always that we try to establish a situation that there are more and more opportunities, but with less and less limitations for the artists, because they are the most important for us.
Of course. Yeah, that's, I mean, it seems like a complicated task because you're living in a music world, or we all are, with many different kinds of musical institutions with very different interests and different kinds of organizations. Some are, you know, profit-driven, some are public, and they're all sort of working together in different kinds of partnerships. It must be a big puzzle for you two, but you're figuring it out. This is, I mean, it's very admirable, and I'm fascinated by these developments. I wish in my native country, the United States, there were more programs to develop young talent like this, but we don't really have a Chopin there exactly, so.
You know, I think that the words like we heard from Bruce Liu in the last interview when he says openly that Chopin competition opened the world for him, they are the most important for us because it's a kind of a proof that our work brings results. So that's the biggest prize for us, to be honest.
If I'm not mistaken, some prize winners from past competitions or finalists, medalists, actually who are from other countries have found their way to Warsaw even. I mean, it seems like Warsaw is attracting, you know, sort of international pianists to want to come here. I mean, this is part of the mission to make it.
Some of them even live here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm thinking of Marcin Garcia, but there's others as well who chose Warsaw after participating as the place that they wanted to concertize. In part, I imagine they have a fan base that came from their participation here.
But actually, that is also part of our discussions with our Minister of Culture and National Heritage in Poland, that one of the dimensions or perspectives of our activity is strengthening of this effect that Warsaw is a kind of a central for pianists, so pianistic center, international center. And what you say is one of the one part of this process. Another one is a bit younger generation coming here to learn before they apply to the Chopin competition. So I think that we've got many different scenarios.
That's another one of the, I suppose, challenges, which is a good challenge to have as leaders of the Chopin Institute. On the one hand, you have a kind of national symbol to represent, and you have a nation of young pianists who you want to promote. But you're also, I imagine, very happy that Chopin has such international appeal, that we're sitting here talking in English, that you invite someone like me. I'm so honored to be here. But you have to reconcile those two, because on the one hand, you want to promote your own artists, and you want to carry on the tradition of Polish pianism, but at the same time, you love the fact that there's Korean pianists and Canadian pianists and Italian pianists coming from all over the world to play your countrymen's, your great heroes' music. So how much of that, there must be a balance always struck between the national pride and also the international attention and love for his music.
I think that we've got even three layers. One is, as you mentioned, is promoting our Polish artists, because we are a Polish institution, and we also have good Polish tax funds to spend. Another one is this international contest. As you say, we are promoting Polish culture, we are promoting the image of our country with collaboration actually fully international. So the Chopin competition is one of these tools, and we've got the artists who are from all over the world, and we attach actually this kind of activity to the thought or to the mission of promoting Poland through Chopin as one of the greatest cultural symbols ever. And I think that nowadays we've got the third layer, and it's promoting classical music among new audiences, and that's again both internal and external. We have to educate new generations. We have to share our thoughts, our enthusiasm about values, about the beauty of music. Not only Chopin's music, but Chopin's music opens hearts and is so international and also so understandable that we try to use this art also for this purpose, to educate and to, as I said, to grow new audiences.
Well, Chopin's music is certainly a universal language. It expresses emotions, I think, that everyone around the world has, and we're going to continue hearing that. Moving on with stage 2 of the International Chopin Competition. We're going to go back and hear more performances coming up soon. Stay with us, and thanks for joining us. Thank you, Artur. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you.
This has been Chopin Talk. Stay with us.